Howdy. Welcome to another Saturday. Adjust that camera so you can see the guitar here. A bit. I'll back up. Hope everybody's doing all right. Had a crazy busy week. Talk about a couple different things today. What's going on with the channel and some updates on the next video. Jam a little bit. Howdy. So, the update, let's see, the next video is almost done. I had a post about it a week ago now. Just had a crazy busy week, haven't been able to really get it completed, but the video's done, it's edited. I just need to mix the final audio for it, and then it'll be, I just reamped the guitar today, because that's what I usually do. I'll play the guitar direct for the video, and then I'll output the signal to the amplifier so I get that actual, the bassman sound and all of that. So that's done, and it should be ready to go. A little bit of both. Busy good, busy bad, a little bit of both. Nothing bad, nothing bad. Just annoying. So, yeah, I've just been working, day job stuff, and then of course, and then I had a little leak on the roof, but I was able to patch that up, so that's not a big deal. What else? Oh yeah, of course the new video is Too Hip Gotta Go. And that was a request by you guys. Somebody had requested it in one of the things. I want to say it was might have been one of the shorts where I did the solo from the song. So I break the whole song down, and this one came in at the longest so far. I think before, the longest video other than the live streams, of course, was Mr. Sandman at like 15 minutes, 15 and change. This one's about 17 minutes. I'm surprised that it was that long. I guess just because explaining it, because I didn't realize, as you start to explain it, you don't realize, oh yeah, it's got this part, and this part, and this part, and this part. And by the time you get done explaining it, 20 minutes have gone by. So I tried to be pretty thorough. I did change the format a little tiny bit in the video, so it's not it doesn't have it has the tablature, but only when I'm playing with the backing track. So when it goes to me explaining it and breaking it down, I did a kind of picture-in-picture. I did that a little bit in the last video for Honey Don't, where I'll have like a close-up of the neck, so you see it a little closer, and then the picking hand is in a little bubble kind of off to the side. But there's really no real room when I do it that way. There's no room to put the tablature unless it is really small. So I figured, well, I guess you really don't need the tablature at that point because I'm explaining it. And you can always download it, like I say, in the video with the link. So and you have it earlier in the video, which you can go back and reference. And it's always good to slow it down if you need to. You can always slow the YouTube video down by half or 2 or whatever, or speed it up if you want. So that should be, I'll probably have that up tomorrow because I just have to mix it and then do the thumbnail, and then it's all set. Other than that, the channel is really close for monetization. So that's, as soon as that happens, I know I've talked about it several times about the history of series of the gear, like the bassman and all of that. That I'm working on it, but I want to get that up there as soon as the channel gets monetized. I've only got about 200 hours of watch time left, so this next video should help that along a bit. And And then I can start doing expanding the channel as well for some of the other videos, doing some podcasts, doing some just conversations with other local musicians, as well as some other gear demos. Since I have acquired that Space Echo, the actual Roland Space Echo. Yeah, if that worked, huh? No, it's really just the watch time. So it's like people watching the um, the best way to help the channel is that obviously subscribing helps get the videos out there in the algorithm. People see it. Views also help. Liking it. Um, I don't think the notification bell does anything as far as getting the video out to other people. It's just mostly for you that you see it when a video pops up. And then there's what else is? Oh yeah, commenting. Any comments in there all help. Doesn't it doesn't matter what they are. It's considered engagement as far as the algorithm is concerned, and so it helps push the videos um, over there. Yeah, it takes. I didn't. I that mystery train video I think really kicked it up the watch time hours. But I've just been um, trying to get it trying to be consistent with it as much as possible. So it's coming along. But yeah, probably within if everything keeps going, if the numbers keep going the way they're going, it should be there within the next couple weeks, depending on if I can get some more videos out there. Um, yeah, the next one I was gonna do is what I was saying about the subscription part of it, um, with the watch time hours. The best way you can help the channel, besides obviously the memberships and the Patreon, that helps directly, but that's not really the best way to help. The best way is to just share the videos around, and of course the liking and commenting and and watching them. But if some people share them around on their socials, like put it on the if you have Instagram or Facebook or any of that stuff, I try to do that and post the videos on my personal one as well. So when people do that, it helps get it out there on the other social medias, and then people come and watch the video, or at least a percentage does, and that's really the best way, because that really drives the video up and then drives the whole channel in the algorithm. Um, But anyway, after the Two Hip Gotta Go video, I'm gonna finally I've been dying to do the comparison between the the mystery brain, the Nocturne pedal, and the actual Roland Space Echo. And I think I don't know if it would be too confusing to do three pedals, because I have the RE20, the Roland Space Echo one, the digital version. Um, just compare all three and see if there's a difference. Um, I mean, I think the preamp is really what I hear. Um, oh, you're welcome, and thank you. Yeah, we can kind of. I mean, this sound is all. This is just a plug-in in the computer, but to me the preamp really pushes it. The RE20 pedal, it doesn't really have it's got to have a preamp circuit in it to a degree, but when you turn the input level up, all it does is kind of just distort and push it, kind of get saturated. And the delay, I don't know how to describe it, but the delay just sounds flat or dull. Doesn't have an edge to it that the mystery brain has, or the actual, or the RE, or the 301, right? Oh wow, that's great. You got a hot rod. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's cool, man. Good to find if you can get a good deal on a flat white. Cool. Yeah, you can luck out and find a kind of a liquidation type sale on a Gretsch. That's fantastic. Yeah, the mystery brain to me just has a little bit more punch to it. I think it's the preamp saturation. But so does I mean, this thing, the Space Echo. It's got um, it it has an input signal and an output signal. If you crank the two, it's like a Marshall stack. I mean, it just distorts its own. You can't really play that. It just not with a Gretsch anyway because it just feeds back. And but somewhere in the middle, you can get a little bit more push, a little more saturation, turn the amp down a little bit, and that works really well. And of course, when you get like the longer delay, I mean, that is fantastic. And the reverb on that thing is great. I don't know why people. It's as it's uh, just as good, I guess, as a regular reverb pedal. The boss, like a Boss reverb, which is built into the RE20 pedal. I don't know what's over there. Um, that's pretty good. The downside with the Mystery Brain is that it doesn't have a reverb. So that was the one thing I ran into when I'm like, oh, I love this delay, but I'm gonna have to get a separate reverb pedal. So right now I'm just using the Spring King, the Dan Electro Spring King, which is okay, but I prefer the Vans amp, but it's got a separate power plug, so it's 12 volt instead of 9 volt like most pedals. So you playing in certain places, like I've said before, it can create a buzz through the amp, which isn't great, especially if you're miking it up. If anybody who's got fluorescent lights, it goes crazy. The Strymon? Have I tried the Strymon? Is that a pedal? I like the tone. I mean, a lot of it's the bassman, really. I mean, the Gretches are the. I plug the Tele in. If I plug a Telecaster in, it sounds good. If I plug a plate of Strat in there, I'm partial to Gretches, obviously, but um, that's where most of the tone comes from. The other stuff's it's nitpicky, you know. I mean, but the other thing you can do if you happen to have an older bassman or a bandmaster or anything that has a bass input channel, the bass input channel, at least on this model, I think this is a 62. Well, the one behind me is a 60. That's a 63. But my other one is a 62, and it's the bass channel has a little bit more drive. So if you don't have a good preamp on your pedal, do that. It's kind of like the difference between almost the difference between your overdrive or high input. What if they have on some of the amplifiers? They have like I know the Vox AC30 had it where you had like a high gain channel and then a lower gain channel. It's kind of like that almost, and all the knobs still work, so you still get. Uh, yeah, it just has its volume and treble and bass, and then the presence knob is separate. That works on both channels, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, sorry, no, that pedal I have not tried it. I'm actually not familiar with it. But like I always say, I'm really terrible with names. I might have seen it. There was another one too that I did try that was kind of cool called Capistan or something like that. Oh, the Big Sky. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've tried that. Yeah, those are great. Um, they're they're up there in price, huh? I mean, that's more than unless you get the smaller one, I guess. But the Big Sky, yeah, that's more than the Mystery Brain. But it's got all these other, at least there's a reverb pedal. No, I have tried it in a store. There's a local store up here in Connecticut, actually, that has Gretches, and they have a whole bunch of different. Oh, it is the Strymon. El Capistan is the Strymon. Okay, all right. Oh, it is that. All right. So yes, then I have tried that. Yeah, that was another one. I was actually on the verge, going back and forth between which one I wanted. Do I want this? Do I want the mystery? Nobody had the mystery. No, I don't. I don't think I've ever seen the mystery brain in stock at a store. So nobody ever had it. So I just took a chance on it, and that's what everybody said. Oh, it's like the 301 or whatever. Been great for me, but I was if I couldn't get that for some reason because they do have to make them sometimes. They had to make one for me. They didn't have any, and they were just starting a new production of them, and they changed the look of them all the time. Like the one in my video, they don't even look like that anymore. They've completely changed the scheme and the coloration of it. That and the mystery, yeah. Okay, so yeah, those were the two I was settling on. Um, if I couldn't get the mystery brain, I was going to go with that one. So good to know. And I had no idea. I didn't know that that was considered a one of the other best pedals out there. Because I also use the Dan Electro. What's it called? The real Echo, and that again very dry sounding. It's nice. It does have a stereo output. I mean, so does the RE20, but um, it's it's very sensitive. The little slider on it, but it I don't know, just something about it. Again, it just doesn't have that preamp, that push. Where I did like the Strymon, sorry, and the Mystery Brain, same kind of thing. But yeah, I'm gonna do a comparison video on that and see how it goes. See what uh, obviously you're limited by what I'm going to be recording it with. Um, oh yeah, it's easy to geek out on all the tech stuff. You can go down a rabbit hole on this forever. Obviously, I'm going to be recording it with a microphone, so but I'm going to use the Sennheiser 601, I think it's called the 601E, and maybe I have a condenser. I think it's actually over there. KSM44, sure, and that gets more of a natural room sound. I'll put the two mics up and see which one sounds better for the recording. See if we can really hear the delay, because obviously I'm gonna turn the delay up a little more for that video so you can really hear the differences and kind of go through the pros and cons of each one, and at least between the two delay pedals, because those are the ones that are accessible. Where the Space Echo, you can still get them on Reverb, but I lucked out and got mine on Facebook Marketplace. You live in the rabbit hole. Yeah, I know the feeling. I would recommend that bass. Yes, either that or a Hofner, like the what's it called? But not the expensive one, the cheap one. They're around the same price range. I think the Gretches are a little bit more. But I really like the Gretsch bass. Comes with round wounds. You can put flat wounds on if you want, but they're punchy. The only thing, not on every model. I mean, it depends on the string that you use. I don't notice it with the round wound strings, but when I put the flat wounds on it, the right, exactly, the Sears catalog, yeah. Um, Speaking of Sears catalogs, I had a um of an old Silvertone. Don't have the I don't know if I have the amp or not, but I have the guitar. It kind of sounds, everything's kind of like deteriorating a little bit, so it almost sounds like a sitar. Hmm. Yes, I would recommend that Gretsch bass for sure, but I would keep the round wounds on it. The flat wounds are cool. They sound great on the Hofner, and they do sound okay, but I've noticed the top G string on the Gretsch bass doesn't seem to quite have the same level as the rest of the strings. Especially if you play with a pick, you push it a little too hard. It's almost like it's not getting the full doesn't have the same level. It's not even. But when you play with the round wounds, I don't have a problem. So I used to play bass with just a pick exclusively if I ever had a bass gig. And then, funny, I can play this. I can play upright, no problem, like this. But if I turn the bass this way, electric, it took me forever. I can do it now. But when I first started playing bass, I have the that. I tried to raise the pickup in it, but it still didn't. Still didn't work. Even if I only raised one side of it, it was almost like you'd hit it. If you hit it quietly, it would all be the same level. But if you hit it hard, then it would just go boom and like die away. But that only, yeah, on those there's no screw pulls for the. Those have just like a flat covering. On that one. But like I said, that only showed up when I put the flat wounds on it. The round wounds were totally fine. So, and overall, if you run through a compressor live, you'll probably be fine. No, I mean otherwise, it's when I have a bass gig. If I have electric bass stuff, I do have a kind of a knockoff. It's not even a Hofner; it's a knockoff, but it's different. It's a sunburst type, but it's black and silver instead of the typical sunburst. And it's not bad. It sounds good. Sounds like a Hofner. It's got the same pickups in there. Somebody took like a knockoff or whatever for of a Hofner, and then they put all the actual hardware on there from a Hofner. And so it's essentially the same thing, but not exactly. But it sounds good. I put flat wounds on it. Sounds good with a pick. Anyway. The other thing I'm going to do is just to kind of get the channel to the next tier is start with a couple of I might do it here if the video comes out well enough, or make a separate video of just ideas, licks for songs, like you're playing a 12-bar blues or something like that, which most rockabilly songs are like that. Just where the first kind of where you would go through an entire solo. So if I were playing, usually with a solo, starting out on an A, usually my go-to riff, if I'm improvising, is usually something like this. Right? And then I might do something like this. Something like that. And then you can always go in when you're going down to the 4. One of those. Or all three fingers. It's harder to do when you're playing at a slower tempo, but doesn't really matter, right? And then you go to the 4. I usually do one of 3 things. I'll do this thing, or something like that. There's always this. Kind of a bebop scale. Right? Same thing as up here. So that's right there, around the 4, right? Right? So you can do that. Another fun one is flip to the bridge pickup. I tuck the pickup like that, and then pick it like this. I love that riff. And then just... And then for the 5, you can either go, you know, that's all staying kind of like in one position, right? Whatever you want to do. That's usually what I'll do, or walk up there. Yeah, so solo building. Yeah, basically solo building. I come up with a different... These are a couple of riffs you can go to. That's in A. I'm sure somebody... You've seen this little trick before, where you kind of bend the B flat to the B. You get the droning thing with the top E. And you can do that, and you do the... all that, those little tricks. But you can do that on the 5 if you're an A, right? And then it goes right back to the A. Another little thing, if you're in E, you can do it in A, but it's a little more difficult because it requires going up to the higher end, higher register of the neck, where you can do this. You're going 1 5 1, going up 5 1, and then back, and then back down. I'm sure you all heard that before. You do the same thing on the 4. As you can see, you're going way up here, so that if you're playing an A and you go to D, you'd be way up there. Although you can always play D in a different spot, you know. Something like that. If you want to create some other substitutions, see, that's more of a 6. You can always play the 9. But I usually do it in E because it's comfortable. And then the 5, what I usually do is I'll just slide down chromatically all the way from... Simple, but sounds cool. The other thing, I mean, and there are some riffs, you know, with the guitar, there are some riffs and licks and things like that that you can only play in certain keys, like especially a lot of the chicken picking stuff. Unless, of course, you retune the guitar, use a capo or something, you can kind of cheat or get away with doing different type of thing, like, you know, something like that. If you're playing a 2-beat, there's a couple of riffs. I don't know if I did one on this or not. I might have in one of the shorts, but I don't know if the same people see the shorts that see the videos. I guess if you actively go and check it, but what I always read is that usually the shorts audience is separate from the videos mostly, but I don't know. So, yeah, there's a couple. If you're having a 2-beat thing, train beat or something in G, there's 2 little riffs that I've always used. One goes up, one goes down. Yeah, they are random. I mean, I don't push them out consistently because what I've noticed is that, and this is what they say too, is that the people who watch the shorts, if you watch the shorts, it does give you subscribers, but they may not transfer and go watch your long form content, and vice versa. So it's a great way to kind of like build subscribers fast, but it doesn't transfer over to the longer form. So you do a little bit of both, but But they are random, yeah. So the 2-beat lick riffs here, there's one that goes up and one that goes down. And it's very similar to each other, but so the one that would go down simple kind of right, and it's just playing off of a pentatonic E minor, relative minor there. So that one goes up. And that's always a great... Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're competing with the TikTok thing. So that's kind of a more bluegrass thing, I guess. So if you're doing something really fast, like, you know, really kind of like that. That's always a way to... I used to do a song like that where I would begin the song like that. Like, actually, I would begin it. And then kind of like... something like that. Used to play that. Yeah, it's and then I would end it usually with that, with the stops. Hot dog, yep. That was always fun to play. I haven't done it in a while though. I don't know why we stopped doing it. Yeah. Trying to think if there was any other types of things. Those I've just tried to, you know, do like a solo structuring kind of solo building thing in different keys. So one would be, you know, E. That's if you're doing that whole little thing. That's a whole progression. So you don't even you go to the A and you go back and whatever. And then let's see. I'll do that sometimes on if I play that slow down, you know. You know, that you can do it there. The only difference in that progression is that it stays on the 1 longer, and then it goes right to the 5, and then back to the 1, and the 4, and then 1, 4, 5. So then that would be... whatever you want to do for the turnaround there. I haven't done any review on this guitar specifically, but maybe I should. I should do one for... I was going to do one for each guitar. Like I have the orange one here, and then this. So I did a comparison video where I just play them all the three of them back to back, just to, so you can hear what they sound like. I didn't alter the track in any way, so I didn't compress it, EQ it, or add any kind of saturation effect to anything. Which sometimes I do, depending on the song, the video, if it needs it. Um, if it doesn't need it, then I won't bother. I won't bother. But for that one, I kept it as clean as possible. Other than your standard mastering stuff for audio, and you can kind of hear the differences between the two. But an actual just straight up review on them, I could. I absolutely could. There's very little difference between this and the Phoenix, like, other than there's the size of the body, the length of the neck, the pickups are slightly different, but I mean, for the most part, they're very similar. Most people, at least at the shows, for whatever reason, tend to love the Phoenix the most out of all of them. And I gotta say, every time I play it, I don't play it that often, to be honest. I don't know why. And every time I do, I go, why don't I play this thing more? It's such a great um sounding guitar. It plays great. I mean, they every time I've, here, check it out, let somebody play it, they always go, "Oh my god, this is a fretless wonder." It's the action gets I can get the action so low on that thing that it's incredible. Like, usually, like, standard, um that does look amazing too, yeah. The standard height for any guitar is the 12th fret, if you have like a ruler, is 2/32 on across every string. So if you're wondering what the standard factory setup for almost every guitar, that's what pretty much every guitar shop is going to do. Is that, unless you specify you want higher or lower. Yeah, that's true. They do. I think they do well. Yeah. So yeah, I'll do that. You can't get this one anymore. This one specifically. So I won't. I probably may not bother with that one. Um, I mean, I get you can get it on Reverb or whatever, but don't bother. Get this if you want to get the orange Setzer model. Just get the new Smoke one. Don't bother with that one. Also, the Rancher too. Cool. Hi guys. Hi Lisa. Yeah, the Rancher. That's something I would definitely, for acoustic guitars. I totally recommend the Gretsch Rancher. I mean, that one. I know, right? Yeah, it's a good guitar. It's kind of like, you know you're always tinkering. You're always tinkering with it. Exactly. It's for science, right? I gotta have it. I just have to get another hook on the wall. I have one more. I have one space left. I can shift everything over. Um, yeah, for the acoustic stuff, I would definitely recommend the Rancher too. It's cheap. I mean, compared to um, Taylors or Martins or whatever, they're insanely expensive. And these Ranchers, I mean, my God, they're incredible. They used to be really pricey, but and they have a Fishman pickup in there. Yeah, you need an acoustic. I mean, sometimes you want that old-fashioned look to an acoustic guitar. I don't know if Gretsch has anything like that. Um, they might. They're always expanding their catalog. So yeah, for the key of G, I'll do something like that. Maybe I don't really have that many songs in the key of G, but the nice thing about G is that, again, you can play off that pentatonic thing. Yeah, they're inexpensive. I think they're around like 400 or something like that. Um, yeah, you can play off of that, of course, and you can always do this little trick. We have the open if you're on a G. The nice thing about it is that the 1 and the 5 are open strings. So if you're on the 5, you can always play that open thing, right? So you can you hear that all the time, right? Same thing if you're in E. Kind of like I know it's not exactly that, but it kind of sounds like what is that? What's that tune? The Dickdale tune. But yeah, you can or swing it, you know. Right. Here's a trick. I don't know if I've ever showed this. I think I showed this once, but in a short, and it was a while ago. Somebody showed me this years ago, and it's a little trick that you can pretty much use in any key. And it's basically if you take these any note, any fret, whatever. So we'll take C, right? And you have the C and the E, the 1 and the 5 here, and you're playing the right from A minor, right? So you can, however you want to think of it, pattern-wise. I always just think of these things, and when I'm learning riffs at first, I don't really think about the notes or anything. I'm just thinking about the what it looks like, what the fretboard looks like from this angle or looking at it directly. And you just kind of use your little finger here, 4th finger, you're putting it up here, so 4 frets apart. And here, index finger is there. And you keep it here, and you just bounce back and forth. You can do it with your pick or thumb and pick, it doesn't really matter. And you strike this note here, which is the flat 7th of the chord you're playing, right? So it would be the root chord. So if you're in C, playing over this C, and then you just pull off with your index finger. And it's like, then you can kind of mess around with the rhythm a little bit. Right? Way up here. Right? Yeah, that's a cool little trick. So you can pretty much move that around the neck, and one of those things where I'll say, oh yeah, I'm in a 2-beat song, so what am I gonna play for the next solo? Oh, let me do that while, and I know it's just kind of in muscle memory, right? So I just do that real quick, and that'll save some time. That'll kind of kill some time for a progression while I'm thinking of what am I gonna do next, right? Or maybe there's another verse, and it'll give me a few more minutes to come up with it. I always try to change it up because there's one thing I get bored with is playing the same solos over and over and over again. It's fine if it's a specific song that you want to always play the same solo. It's a signature riff or whatever. Like whatever, you know. I always play the solo the same way, or I'm always going to play that the same. It'll be up here. I'm always going to play that the same. But if I try to, for any other kind of rockabilly blues song, it's always different from gig to gig. I'll settle on a couple of things. There's a song that we do called Buzz Me, which is a Louis Jordan tune. We change it a little bit. I think the original is pretty slow, but which this is more of just a typical um, swing, medium tempo swing, boom, ba bop, ba boom, ba bop, right? And it kind of has the start with the almost like a Kansas City kind of intro, so it's like 5 down to the 1, and it does that twice. Like, and then it does it again, and then in the solo part, I'll always do this. No, it's not that. It's a. You're like bending the 4 up like half, and if you put the tremolo on, which is usually what I'll do, I'll put the tremolo on right at that spot. Kind of spooky. And that's a cool little sound, and it's the when you do that, you play with a band long enough, you start doing the same kind of hits over and over again. The drummer gets used to it, and then they can accent it, and they get tighter, and then they know kind of where you're going to go. So it's like little things that tend to work, and these things happen organically. You'll start doing it. Oh, I really like that, and you play it again, and you hear the drummer play the accent with you. And it's like, oh, that little part's sounding really, really good. Let's just keep doing that section again like that, but all the rest of it surrounding it will be different from time to time. Yeah, very, very swampy. um, like I always do this. I've done this several times on the stream. I'll have this little jazz progression over in F. And then go, that's fine and all, but then we go up to this other part where it's just a real simple kind of rhythm type solo. Simple, but the drummer's used to that, hears that, and bam, bam, always hitting those the hits right along with me each time. So I know he's going to do that, and it's just a cool musical moment. And so it's just keep it in there. A lot of bands usually have something like that going on. People like to throw in the 1 o'clock jump usually, especially if you got a harp player in the band. Right. So yeah, those are some of the little tips. So I'll do that. I'll definitely do a review, a Rancher review for sure. Because that one, I'm sure there are plenty of other videos out there on it. I don't know if I've ever seen one, but I'm sure it exists. But yeah, I have nothing but praise about it. I haven't found anything negative to say about that Rancher. I'm not an acoustic player, crazy acoustic. I'll occasionally do something on it, but mostly for recording. I do have some duo gig things that we play. The bass player and I will do some of that. But I've found that even just the electric Gretsch with an upright bass sounds good. You don't really need the acoustic. And of course, acoustics are a little bit more of a struggle, so you have to you're playing it a little, and you're playing live with it. Getting an acoustic to sound good live is always tricky because it either sounds too much like an electric or you get the feedback problem. And it's uneven. So you always want to have a good compressor. I have an old, it's a Fender acoustic amplifier, and see if I can pull a picture of it up here. And it's pretty good. It's given me a couple of issues lately. I don't, and because it is solid state, so it is a solid state thing. So, but this is it right here, and it's okay. It's for the price versus say the Fishman or I can't remember the other one. It's like a cube. Uh, that one's the best, obviously, that I've ever played through. But they're, I want to say they're, to get them to sound really good, you have to have that plus the preamp pedal to go with the mix and match. And they're, I think it's 500 each. So these are around like four and change, and they're pretty good. Like I said, I had a little bit of an issue with it, but I was playing an electric through it, so I don't know if that was what was going on. But as far as a duo jet, no, I don't have a duo jet. Um, that's kind of my. I'm going back and forth between whether I should get a duo jet next or maybe one of the sets or smokes. Don't know yet. I'll figure that out later when I'm ready to get another guitar. I'll see what I'm feeling at the moment, but I'm gonna get both eventually. But for now, so yeah, I could for acoustic solo duo stuff. I mean, whatever amp you want to use. I mean, that one's okay. That Fender one's okay, but I've played it through there, and it's been pretty good. They're great through like the L1. If you ever have see those L1 Bose makes those like self-contained PA systems, L1, L2, or something like that. Those are pretty. Or JBL makes one as well. Sounds good just going direct into that. But what really sounds good with acoustic that I've found recently is behind me. My is this that BA 115, the Ampeg bass amplifier. The acoustic sounds even and compressed. All the notes are, all the strings are even across the board, the fretboard. It sounds great through that. I don't really have too much of that acoustic uh, feedback issue or something where like the bass notes super loud and the trebles that kind of goes away. I run into that quite often with acoustic amps, but with that thing, I just that's that's the way to go. I, and it was kind of out of necessity. I just like, oh, I don't didn't couldn't bring both amplifiers, so I was playing bass, but I was playing a couple of songs on acoustic for that gig. Um, so that worked out well when I just said, well, I'll try plugging it through the amplifier and see what happens. I mean, an amp's an amp, right? So let's see what happens, and it worked great. Yeah, I'll do that. That and maybe the Phoenix because they still make those. And oh yeah, and the Jazz Box. The can't remember the model name, but it's the is it Electromatic? Yeah, yeah, like Electromatic or Synchromatic. Synchromatic. Synchromatic jazz guitar. That one's great too. That one I don't really play it that often, but I wanted a jazzy sounding guitar, and I just wanted to have it here. Let me plug it in because it sounds totally different than any of these other ones. Oop. Well, okay. Definitely has to be tuned up. It's a bit, it's been sitting for a while. Whoa, that one's way out. So yeah, this got a little mini humbucker on it. Flat wound strings. I think I've changed it maybe twice. I've had it since, when did I buy this thing? 2011, something like that. And I've had it for, I've only played it a handful of times. I thought I was going to use it a lot for solo acoustic gigs or something like that, or duo gigs and stuff. And it's really more of an electric guitar. It's not an acoustic. Not really designed for that. And it's incredibly loud. You plug it into an electric guitar amp, and almost like a Gibson sound, but simple. Um, volume, tone, really all you need. Let's see what this sounds like. There. Very jazzy. Not bad. What's yeah, something like that, or if I'll have a song like Angel Eyes, we play that Sinatra tune. Yeah, so little things like that. If I'll do some jump blues too, or sometimes I'll have yeah, it would. I got copyright claims for playing that on the stream the last time. Yeah, it would sound good. It just doesn't have the Bigsby, but it would sound good, if you did like a different version of it, like acoustic, like a duo thing. That's all right. It's not a strike. It's just a It's just a claim. Just means that if that video were to get monetized, you can't make any money on it. But not a big deal. I guess the live streams, yeah, they get monetized as well. Like I don't know, it's all new territory. It will be once I get there. Yeah, this sounds. I'll do like some things like what's the Choo Choo Boogie, like that one I was playing. Well, that's what I play, that little jazz thing. That's what I play it over the. Usually when we play Choo Choo Boogie. Um, I know, right? It does, but yeah, they have the ranchers with the Bigsby's on them. I wonder what that must sound weird. Uh, I'd like to try that one, but no cutaway. So, copyright claim means that, from the way I understand it, that the algorithm found a recognizable piece of music or footage. If you use somebody else's too much, if you use too much extra footage, it's usually the audio that gives it away. So if you take a clip from a movie, for example, and put it in there, and it's too long, like it's over. I forget what the time, how long it is. I don't know. I don't even know what it is, whether it's 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or whatever. And there's too much of that, they will just you'll get you'll say this video cannot be monetized, basically. So it depends on the copyright claim. I want to say sometimes with the music it means that whoever owns the copyright to, say, Sleepwalk, will that it'll come up, they'll get notified, or they might see it, so they'll copyright claim, they put in a claim, anybody uses these songs, and they know to basically not monetize the video. If the video starts to make money, all the money then goes to the copyright owner, not the video person, or not the creator, the content creator. So none of the money from that video would go to me. It would all go to the whoever copyright claimed it. Now it's not, and it's for the, I believe it's for the whole video. It's not just that section either. So you have to be careful with, especially with music. It's so easy to just play a song, right? And play somebody else's material, and just all of a sudden you're copyright claimed on something, you don't even realize it. I know the people to avoid, so I just won't. Yeah, oh yeah, there's always a list you can't play. It's like copyright claims are not a big deal. It just means that you're not making any money, and that it could be that somebody else, it might be a 50-50 split depending on how it's set up. I'll still get some money from it, but I'll only get half, or maybe I'll only get like a third or a quarter, or whatever because everything's different. So you just avoid the few big ones, Eagles, Cars, Garth Brooks, and Bryan Adams. But a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll do something like this. They'll do the streaming, and then they'll go over and they'll talk about different songs, and they'll even play the original or part of it. Um, I mean, what's his name? Rick Beato gets away with it, but when he makes his clips, no, I still hear it there sometimes. I don't know. I don't know how he gets away with that. But because, like, when you do, really, it was shut down because of copyright. Wow. Hmm. Probably, yeah, the music. I mean, I did the live stream of the band from the gig, was a while ago now, but video's still up there. There was a couple of things that got blocked, and it was just it wasn't even what we were playing. It was the the overhead music, or the music that was played through the PA system before we we started. And it wasn't a copyright claim. It was partially blocked in certain countries. I want to say it was one of the Clash tunes that got blocked. I think it was I think it was Brand New Cadillac. Um, What I've noticed, like when I started the channel, I was doing just instrumental music and just playing songs. And I did that because I knew that it would get copyright claimed, but it didn't matter because I was just trying to get used to the technical side of it and how everything's going to work, how I'm syncing this stuff up, and try to figure out where the copyright claim comes from. So I finally figured it out. I think I figured it out. It's mostly to do with melody. If you can avoid playing the melody of the song, whether you're singing it or playing it, if you avoid that, you're probably going to be okay because it's just guitar playing. It's just chords and structure and solos, and you can't really copyright that stuff. So a sleepwalk's a different case because the entire an instrumental is specific. And if you break it up enough, you might be able to get away with it. Because when people do reviews of whatever on YouTube and they're, like I put myself in a little corner and they're watching somebody else's video, they're fine from what I understand. Sometimes it gets claimed, but most of the time not. But because it's considered you're altering the original content and you're adding your own commentary to it, it's usually fine unless the people who own that are just copyright hawks and they just will stop anybody from doing anything. But anyway, you figure it out as you go. That's why doing the gear reviews and the review on the instruments and stuff like that, that's fine because, and I all the background music that you hear in all the videos, I make all that, so I don't even use YouTube's catalog of music. They have a ton of music you can use for your videos, but I don't use any of it. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. It's still in the video. I mean, the video's back there. And it's funny because I had an old video back when the channel, I started technically the channel started in 2015. So if you look in the about section, it'll say 2015. But only thing that was posted to it were live videos of the band, and I don't have those up anymore. Because the band's changed quite a bit since then. But we did 2 different versions of Sleepwalk, and one of them got copyright claimed and the other one didn't. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll go with. I mean, with the live stream, it's just a live stream hangout. So you're very welcome to all the information. Like I said, if anybody has questions, I don't mind getting off track, and I don't really have much of a track. It's kind of like wherever things go for the afternoon, evening, and just let it kind of organically go wherever ever it takes us for the day. Sometimes I have very specific things I want to talk about, so I kind of come up with something to talk about musically on the guitar. Always playing different little things, anything I can help out with and show you, and I think about it that I think about when I'm playing, and other things that I've seen online. Yeah, exactly. They won't tell you. I know. I've found that it's avoid the melody. When I did Summertime Blues, I made the mistake of playing the solo in there. And the only reason why I did that was because the video was so short without it, because there's really not much to that song, that I added it in there, and I always play it live, so I figured why not. But I I all the other videos didn't get copyright claims, but that one did. And so I went, must be the melody. Yeah, one thing I looked about the other day, I was trying to find I haven't really watched it too much. I'm sure you guys have seen some of the stuff like the caged system on the guitar, and I'd never heard of that really before. And I guess it's just understanding like the D is here, and the D is here, and then it's here, and then it's here. And it's like those are just inversions, so I guess it's just a way of understanding the different chords on the guitar. Other thing is I have a question for you guys, and I've seen it a couple of times on some other videos where they have the camera up here down on the neck. So you see it from like POV, like your perspective. So it would be, and it's kind of angled and you could see it as if you were looking at the guitar. Would that be something that would be helpful for anybody? I feel that would be good for like beginner style guitar lessons. Because I am doing that as well. Again, I'm waiting for the channel to get monetized so I can have all these videos and put them up because I need the watch time as well, but I also want to do the videos that might get copyright claimed, like some of these lessons and stuff, which I'm still going to continue to do. But if they get copyright claimed, it doesn't matter because I'm not making any money. The channel's not making anything anyway. So it's just something to and it's fun to do all those little intros with the little edits and the TV and everything. I don't know if that would be helpful for you guys or not because from my perspective, I don't know if that's a new thing that people are doing, but you're okay? Yeah, okay. So yeah, if the camera's like up here and pointing down the neck, yeah, that's dizzying. But no, this is kind of like if you were looking at it like that in the camera, and then you would see the hand. You'd be like looking at it as if you were holding the guitar. So I don't know if that would be helpful. Like I said, maybe for the beginner guitar stuff that I'm going to do. But my, I guess, pushback on that would be that if you get used to that, and that's the way you're looking at the guitar all the time, then if you ever go to a concert or you're watching just a live concert video, you're not going to be able to glean as much from it, because I've every video that I've ever learned from was always like this, facing the camera, direct head on, direct like this. And you learn that way. And then when you watch a concert video, you're like, oh, I know what he's playing. I know he's because you're so used to doing it this way. And when you teach somebody too, this is what you get when you're one-on-one in the room. You have your guitar with you, and then it's the same. So that's my perspective on it of why I wouldn't want to do that, because I'd want to teach people to learn this way. It might be easier to learn, maybe see it this way at first, but then eventually you want to transition to be able to do this. That way, if you ever go take a guitar lesson in person, in real life, then you can you can do that. You don't have to worry about seeing that. Exactly. Yeah. Like that's what I mean. If you're in a lesson, you're not going to be looking over your shoulder. So it seems a bit unnecessary. Cards from Spain. Packabilly. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have fun at work. And you're welcome. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking over your shoulder. So to me, I've just seen some people seem to like it, some people don't. I don't know if I don't want to go crazy and try to change how it would be. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me get behind you here. What are you doing? Oh. I have to see it from this perspective. um yeah, so, and like I said, I think it would Right. Yeah. So, and it would be better if, and you'd learn that way. You can go when you go to a concert or you watch one on TV or whatever. Then you can go, oh, I know what they're playing. And you can visually. That's how I get a lot of stuff. If I can't quite hear what's going on, and I try to find a video of somebody playing it, even if it's live in a concert setting, I can at least see roughly, oh, the hand is there. I'll pause it, try to zoom in on it and say, because some of these cluster chords that get played, like if it's this or this, play it so fast, you have to know, like, oh, okay, well, the middle knuckle is pushing out this way, so it's got to be a 13. If it's this way and it's more of like the third finger's coming out, and it's probably like a 6/9. So, um, although you can hear the difference in the chords, but sometimes if it's the guitar's like buried in the background, you're not really quite sure. Subtle, but like the difference here. Isolated, you can hear the difference, but when the drums and the bass are playing, it's a little more difficult. Yeah, the one thing about round wound strings is they're thicker gauge, so get a little more. Can't really bend them a little bit, but not really designed for that anyway. I haven't played this in a bit, but sounds good. Yeah, I'll do that for Choo Choo Chaboogie. I'll have this. Whatever. Yeah. It does make your fingers stronger. This is pretty light, and the action on this is pretty good. That's the one thing you want to look for too. Here's a little trick. Definitely, especially for the acoustic. These aren't so they're flat wound, so they're really silky smooth. So easy to deal with. But yeah, the acoustics, man. When you have the elixirs, I don't recommend those elixir strings, but they do last a little longer. But I find that they just, there's a film on it that I don't really care for. It's a little too slippery. So wax, it's kind of a wax film on those things. Yeah, I could do a video on some of those weird chords. I mean, I did one sorta, kinda, with about passing tones, but I can make another one with just stuff on. We'll take maybe at least 2 examples of different keys and different kinds of things. Yeah, I'll do something like that. Cool. And always how to fit them in, because a lot of the times these chords, with you're playing a song or whatever, it's those chords are not a part of the song typically. So you're going to have to uh, substitute them in or add them in, interject them into the song. Especially with rockabilly or rock or blues or any roots music, those chords are not built into the voicing or of the um of the tune, like a jazz tune or something. but it's just a augmentation of it. Yeah, seventh, flat seventh, beat fourth, flat four, augmented second. So that would be like the extension. Um, so an augmented second is like a sharp nine, basically. Um, and then the slash G means the G is in the bass. So yeah. Second, the nine there. You want to have that third. You have augmented four. You have to add in the four there, so you'd have F sharp top, something like that. I have not. I know I have not tried those strings. Yeah, pretty much just stuck with Diodario strings for forever. I've tried little ones. I've tried like what's Ernie Ball and DR. They're fine, I guess. Yeah, I mean you can build any chord. I know it's a nonsense chord, but it's still a chord. Technically it can be. I mean that's what it would essentially be. Well, wait a minute. Isn't it? Definitely. That's essentially what it would be. Yeah, you can add whatever extension on top of it. You have your triad, and then you have your whatever your fourth, whether it's a seven flat, usually flat seven when you want to build. Um, when you want to build on top of it, the flat seven is kind of like the root of your extension. Everything's based around there, um, and then you can have you can have a flat nine and an augmented second or whatever if you want to, as long as they're an octave apart, it's fine. Just keeps going up the. It can work. It can get dissonant and crazy, little, but so then that's what I've said in the past. Like when you know how to create these chords and add whatever, it's just musically like whatever sounds good to you, and then you just learn how to whittle it down and carve it down into what sounds best for that song. Like I usually build it up like crazy, go nuts with it, and then I'll bring it back down to earth on what's going to sound musically the best. Not technically, no. I mean, I took private lessons, orchestration um, for Berkeley, uh, former Berkeley teacher years ago. It was when how old was I? 19, 20, college, basically, college time. And I did some college, but it was mostly just performing part of it, choir and vocals and that sort of stuff, and not too much instrumentation. And then I took private guitar lessons, jazz guitar lessons, played in local big bands and community jazz bands and stuff like that. And then also took it was about 4 years of orchestration and composition for big band, concert band, and symphony. So I don't know everything about it. I never got to the point. I can't look at a. I tried taking a music theory quiz the other day. Said this is the hardest music theory quiz, and a lot of it's the terminology. If it's explained properly, then it's like, oh, that's what they're talking about. And sometimes it's buried under so much jargon that it sounds more complicated than it actually is. Um, yeah, I did that because I wanted to learn. Yeah, a lot of theory. It was all paperwork for the most part. All the lessons were that. It got to the point where it's like, all right, now you've learned the basics. Write a score for write a big band, or pick a song, write an orchestration. I had to transpose one, find one to transpose, and then make up my own from a song. Pick a song that doesn't have a big band on it, and make one. Put it there. And so Same principle for symphony. It's just more instruments, basically, and understanding, learning like what instruments are capable of what. You got to be careful with what you write. There are some types of triplets and slurs and things that trombones can't do, and that sort of stuff that you have to be careful with. And um, when you write for strings, you have to be careful with enharmonics. So like C sharp and D flat, you don't want to write one section in C sharp and the other one in D flat, because the way violin players play, they're when they play in a sharp key, there's just a little bit sharp, a little bit above the note. They kind of slide up to the note, and when they play in a flat key, even though it's technically the same key, they kind of slide down a little bit. So if you have those two things playing together, that really conflicts, and it sounds really bad. um, the other thing is low interval limits. That was something I was always fascinated with, which is where you don't really run into it in rock and roll, but if you have a jazz band, you get like a bass trombone, you have to be careful with what harmonies, certain harmonies in the lower register don't work. It sounds like mud, and unless you're intentionally going for that weird sound, it's very dissonant and off-putting, and it sounds really really bad. There's a couple of, I forget the guy's name, um, Sammy Nestico, that did it, some of it intentionally, but it's only for like an effect. So I think it was developed over time. I mean, I just listened to music since I was a kid, so I've always liked it. I always listened to Bill. I remember listening to Bill Haley when I was a little kid. So, and big band. I was raised on big band music from my grandparents, listening to Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller and all that stuff. And then my parents, they were a little older, so they listened to most of the '50s rock and roll and '60s and stuff like that. So I always grew up listening to the oldies radio station. So I was gravitated toward, before I even played an instrument, because I didn't start playing until I was about 15. And that's when like I said, I got it before I got into the Beatles, and then I went through the Zeppelin thing and the Who and the Stones and all the typical Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan and all the stuff that typically most people go through when they start playing guitar. And then I got into who were there, what was their influence, and so that was '50s rock and roll. Yeah, it's the ear training is hard. It's difficult. I mean, I still struggle to hear certain things. Um, and it's really just a matter of doing it over and over again and understanding, like, okay, well, that's what that sounds like. And then when you hear it again, another way to really train yourself, or at least for me, what really helped for me was playing bass. Um, playing, and also playing in a band that didn't rehearse. So it was, what are we playing today? I don't know. And so I'd show up and I'd have the bass, and then they'd say, "All right, this song is in the key of D, and it's gonna do a." That's how I started learning the. It's gonna do a 1 4. It's gonna do a 1 4 or 1 5 6 4 or whatever, and I'd learn that, have to grasp that really quickly, and then watch people play, watch guitar players play, and get used to playing since I knew how to play guitar, it was easy for me. I could watch and see where their hands were going to go and what their key of off, that's key of R, key of off. Yeah. Um. Now it's watching somebody play that was easy for me, but what was funny, um, it was funny because the first guy I played with, um, for that gig, and I did it for years. Is that, oh, I'll be able to do this. I can see the guitar, I can see the chords and everything else, but he was left-handed upside down. So I'm like, oh. So he played like Dick Dale, where he played left-handed, but the top strings, the high strings were on the top, and the bottom strings were on the, you know, the bass notes were on the where the treble side should be, right? So I'd have to learn how he's playing a G chord or playing a D chord or whatever, and kind of like have to mirror inverse it in your head as you're playing along. But then you start to listen to the chord changes, and that understanding, like, okay, it's going to go to a four. Oh, that's what a four sounds like in relation to what else is going on in the song. That's the five. You can hear the five. And that's another game you can kind of play, is you just listen to random music, especially jump blues uh, and rockabilly too. You know, rockabilly is a little more predictable, but take Louis Jordan stuff or and just listen to it and go. Um, right. Uh, good one. Well, yeah, just listen to whatever you're and just go. Oh, that's the one. If you take a song you know that's the one, that's the four, that's the five, that's the six, that's the this, and you hear it and you go, okay. And then try to take a song you don't know and see if you can pick it out. And that will be, even if you just get the root notes. Once you know where the root notes are, the first step to transposing a song is figuring out the bass. So if you figure out what the low register, the notes are, you can build from that. That's the core of it. Then you know where the basic root changes are. And then you can add at that point whatever. Okay, this is probably a triad. This is that. Figure out what the tonic is, the one, and then kind of build the build the puzzle together if you're trying to transpose a song from without any sheet music at all. But these days, I mean, it's so easy to find something. And there's some program, I forget, or app or whatever, that something that somebody told. I'll have to ask. My bass player told me about it, where you can throw the song into the app and it'll kick back the chords. It'll tell you what chords are being played. So I'll have to find out what the name of that was again. I um probably Google something like that, but I'd love to throw in um an old like what's his name, some Calvin Booz or stuff, some of those old uh jump blues tunes like that, or Roy Brown. Yeah, I did take. Well, when I was in school, I mean early school, like elementary, and we had music class too, so that was part of the. I don't. It wasn't every day, but so going back to that, my grandmother and mother also played. My dad was a keyboard piano player and an organ player. So he played like a Hammond B3, and my grandmother and mother also knew how to read treble clef, and I remember them teaching me, you know, how to at least read the treble clef and stuff like that from when I was 5, 6 years old. So it kind of sort of started, I guess, back then, but I just really didn't want anything to do with it until I was a little older. And nobody played guitar that I know of. Triangle, sticks. Yeah. I played trumpet for a little while. I mean, that was painful. uh, it just takes really, you got to literally, you're building up your chops for that. That takes a while. You can only play for so long before you literally cannot blow through the horn anymore until you get used to it. Um, plus, as I started singing in bands and things, so, yeah, you can't sing. You got a horn stuck in your mouth. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I never had a cornet, but I had a trumpet for a little while. I had a trombone, but I never really tried to play that. I have a violin, but that's hard too. Guitar is so much easier. Well, anything that's kind of tempered, like a tempered instrument. I tried like woodwinds, reeds and stuff like that. I got a sound out of a clarinet once, and I just never really continued with it. Um, never in piano. I have a piano, but I don't really. I started learning. I started getting pretty good, and then I moved, and I didn't have access to a piano for several years, so I never really went back to it. And then I had the playing bass all the time, and then still wanted to keep my guitar chops up. And instead of going like, well, I'm going to spend all my time learning how to play another instrument that I'm probably not going to play live or use for a recording, because it would take me so many years to get good enough to be able to do that. I figured, well, let me just up my guitar chops a little bit more. So I started learning how to play with a thumb pick. So that's still took a couple of years, but at least it was with an instrument that I was already familiar with. The first one that I learned how to play with the thumb pick was that Oh by Jingo. Been a while. I usually play that on the electric with the Bigsby too. So that's public domain, so I can play that one. Yeah, it's getting to the point now where a lot of those songs from the 20s and some of I don't know if we're in the 30s yet, but I forget what the time frame is. 90 years, something like that. Every January, February, or whatever, we have the copyright public domain day, where whole new now that the time is getting to the point where recorded music was almost 100 years old. um you can I think it's 100 years. I think it's 100 years, because yeah, because what the big deal this year was or the first Mickey Mouse, the Steamboat Willie version, is public domain now. um so anything from that time frame, so maybe it is 90, whatever it is. uh yeah, 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 both of those, Winnie the Pooh and public domain, yeah. And yeah, so it'll be, yeah, just keeps going. And not that you can't play anything you want, you just have to worry about copyright. If you're copyright on YouTube, it's great because everybody's covering everything, so it's totally fine. What can really get you into trouble is playing the actual song, the recording, or yeah, I know they did. Yeah, they kept getting it pushed back for years. The was the recording of if you play the original recording, then you can get in trouble, or it's syncing licenses as well. So if you're trying to sync your original tune or a newly recorded version to the original video or vice versa, you can get into trouble like that. You make a new video and you use the original recording. I believe if you make even if you make a video, making your own video, but you're covering the song, you have to be careful there too. But you just pay. You can pay for that. You can go through what is it, Harry Fox, the Harry Fox agency or something like that. That does it. There's also other third parties you can go through if you can't find it. Go directly through that. And yeah, but YouTube, generally speaking, it's just going to copyright claim you. It just means you won't make any money. But if you want to do your own cover, because we have a couple of cool covers that I wouldn't mind putting out there, getting those recorded. We did record a bunch of them actually. The last studio session we were in, so I just got to get those mixed and uploaded. Um, Reactor reacts to a song. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's. I do have a show tonight, so I am gonna have to get going here shortly because we have. I got to get all the car loaded and headed over there. So hopefully that should be fun tonight. We start around 9 ish, and then play till about midnight. Yeah. At least they are very sensitive to me. Yeah. Oh, the show? Yeah, sorry. It's a place called Galactic Theater in Warren, Rhode Island. So it's a little place. It's actually the same place, the live video that's on the channel. The one that's in the actual list of videos. Because when I did that live thing, it was still in the live panel, which I thought was gone. Nobody could see it, but apparently it was still there. But because I didn't know that, I accidentally made an edit. And when you make an edit to a live video, like if I went back and edit, did an edit to this today or any of them that we've done, it would kick that. If you save it, that clip, it would kick that over to your main video list. And I try my best to kind of keep that uncluttered so that if people want to go to the videos, that's what I do with other channels. If I want to see all the content, I'll just go and I'll look down the list. And if you can kind of sort of keep things in order as best as possible, then I think that's better. But anyway, yeah, so it's that place, Galactic Theater. I have never used Fred Kelly speed pickups. No, I'm not even sure what if I'm familiar with those. Let me look them up real quick. Picks, not pickups, picks. Sorry. Oh no, I have. Wow, no, I never seen those before. That's strange. So they're thumb picks, huh? Or and I guess not all of them. Huh. Interesting. I'll just flip this over real quick so if anybody watches this, you can say, so Fred Kelly, this is what they look like. Weird. Never never tried it, but I'm not opposed. If I ever see one out somewhere, or maybe I'll get one and try it. I have played in Philly. I played in New Jersey. I have. I have played there before, but never, not in a while. New York. Um, we played. I played there. It was a Auto Shrunken Head on 14th. Well, I'll have to check them out. I'll have to check them out. Jersey, I played private events in New Jersey, but I've never actually played a plate, like a bar or anything or a theater. Philly, Glenside, I played over there. I used to go down there. There was a place in there used to be an event. I think they still do it. It's called blanking. I just think called Rockabilly Sundays, and they used to do it at the VFW in Glenside, but they moved the location, and I haven't been there since um, several years. But it's expensive to travel, for lodging and gas and you know all of that to get everybody on board to go down and play a show. Eventually, hopefully with the channel, it would be nice to generate enough interest um, for people that would like to see the band live, and we could do a small, at least even regional tour for a week or whatever, even a weekend to just get some, build up a couple of good shows, to make it worth it for us and the venue. They have a spring on the thumb loop? That is weird. Mountain picks. That's weird looking. What that even? Huh. Interesting. See these little spring there. That's wild. Interesting. Yeah, all sorts of things I've never tried. It's cool. The Blue Comet. Mm. Yeah, yep, that was where they used to be. I don't know if that was after the VFW or because they were at the VFW for a while, but now they're at the. I have no idea. It was supposed to be. I don't know if they're still even doing it, but that'd be cool. Wouldn't mind going back down there and doing that. Hey, King Sickabilly, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, hopefully one day I wouldn't mind going out and playing some different places. I mean, we're trying just to get out more to like um, um, up in Mass and Connecticut or whatever. But yeah, yeah, tonight's always a fun show, so that's gonna be that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna try this Space Echo out again. I've been using it every show so far, so nice. You gonna be there? Cool. Um, yeah, I've been using it every gig. It's been holding up, so hopefully that it stays. I always have the mystery brain as a backup, just in case. You never know what's gonna happen. But it's been pretty consistent, and yeah, I'm loving it. I had a great time playing the last. Did I have? Yeah, last week I talked about it where I took the attenuator off and the amp wasn't as loud as I thought it was going to be, and it was so much clearer. notes were ringing out. You could really get those low end notes without it being too mushy, and loved it. Love it. So that's what I'm gonna try to keep doing tonight going forward. But if it's too loud, I'll put the attenuator on, of course. But and it shouldn't be, because last time it was actually the same. It was just a little more crisp, a little more distinct, clearer. The notes were separated a little better. Cool. All right. Well, I'll get this wrapped up here, because I'm gonna start getting loaded up and getting ready to head out shortly. Got to get all the stuff in the van, in the band van, and yeah, I'll have that other video up hopefully tomorrow. Like I said, I just have to mix it and do the thumbnail. That should be ready to go. And yeah, I'll start doing the reviews on the Rancher and the Phoenix and this guy here. What is the model of this anyway? G100. There you go. And the bass too. Why not do the bass, the Phoenix, and the Blue Harbor. And yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for all the support for the channel, all the comments, all the shares. Like I said, that's the best way to help the channel, is really to share any of those videos on social media, more so than like the memberships or the Patreon. Like, that stuff helps directly, but it's not really helping the channel per se in the same way. So all things Gretsch, absolutely. But don't tell anybody. No, I'm kidding. No, I like Telly's too. That's just joking. But yeah. So yeah, that's it for today. I'm gonna get going here. Again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and have that video up hopefully tomorrow. And I will see you guys next week, right here, the same time. Until then. And don't forget, like he said, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. All of that stuff helps the channel, helps go a long way. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, everybody.